Hi everyone, it's Miss Kim. It's Wednesday of National Library Week, and this week, or today, is about outreach. And outreach is when librarians leave the library and we do things in the community. So we have some things that we do at the library. We visit the schools. Of course, we haven't been able to do that this year. We loan books to different groups. They do book clubs different places. Let's see, what else do we do? Oh, we take books to the local retirement homes so the people that live there can enjoy them. We get things ready for teachers, and we do field trips. That's where classes can come to us. So today I thought it might be fun to do one that's about a field trip. And some of you may know Amelia, Bedelia. And these are beginner readers. They're level 2. But we have Amelia, this is when she's all grown up. But we have a book called Amelia Bedelia's First Library Card. And it's about when she was a little girl. So let's find out what happens with Amelia and her first library card. It's by Herman Parrish, and pictures are by Lynn April. And you'll see on the Amelia Bedelia books that they're by Peggy Parrish. And I think that Herman is Peggy's nephew. And let's see, it was published by Green Willow Books. Amelia Bedelia loved books, and she loved to read. That's why she was happy the day her teacher, Miss Edwards, took the class to visit the town library. "Welcome to the library," said a lady in the lobby. Let's see, I'm going to turn this just a little bit so you can see a little better. "I am Mrs. Riley, the children's librarian. We have lots of great things to show you. But first, one rule. There's no food or drink allowed in the library. We don't want any icky, sticky books, do we?" "No," shouted the class. Amelia Bedelia quickly finished her juice box. Where could she put it? Oh, she put it in here. It says, "Feed me." And she thought it was just for kids. Now, the librarian checks it. It's the place where they put the returned books. "Now let me show you how to return a book," said Mrs. Riley. "You just slip it in here like this." She slid a book through the slot. "Let's go see where it went and what happens next." And our place to return books is outside the library. You'll see it. It says book drop. There's also a place to return DVDs there. Everyone followed Miss Riley to see the bins that caught the books. She reached into one bin and pulled out a crumpled juice box. "We will check this into trash," she said. And it made the book icky and sticky. "Now come with me," said Mrs. Riley. "Let me introduce you to Thomas B. at the circulation desk." And circulation is a big word. Do you know what it means? It means moving around. So we call it our front desk, but it's the circulation desk. He's checking books in and checking books out too. "Hey kids, who wants to check in a book?" Everyone took a turn with the book scanner. Beep, beep, beep. Ours does that too. It makes a beep sound. The librarian showed the class how books are sorted onto carts, wheeled through the library, and put back where they belong. So we have a cart in our downstairs where we keep the books, and then we bring them up and we put them back on the shelf after they've been all cleaned. We have books on every subject you can think of, from history to art to sports to science. And there are lots of good stories in the stacks too. That's what librarians like to say. The books are in stacks. Amelia Bedelia didn't see any stacks. She looked around, but all she could see were shelves of books. She's thinking of stacks of pancakes. At last they arrived at the children's room. "This is my favorite place," said Mrs. Riley. "Please make yourselves at home." So we're going to take a little walk around our children's room. I want to show you what it looks like. So I'm in the castle room right now. But if I turn this, you can see the children's room out there. Now we'll come back to the castle room. And you can see what's on it. You can see our birds way up high. You can see our fairies on the wall. And there's our knight. So let's find out what Amelia Bedelia finds in her library. Looks like they have some pet fish. Now, we don't have any pet fish here. We've thought about it, but then we worried about how will they eat on the weekends when we're not here. Mrs. Riley went to her desk and picked up a bundle of plastic cards. So she has plastic cards. And she has a rubber band around them that she calls her library bracelet. And I don't really have any library bracelets, but Mrs. Riley does. She gave the cards to Miss Edwards, Amelia's teacher. "Here's a library card for each one of you," said Miss Edwards. "Now you can check out books whenever you like." The whole class cheered. "Remember when we talked about how library works, chickadees?" asked Miss Edwards. "The library shares these books with everyone in town. So if you check out a book and you bring it back, then someone else can borrow it." "That's right," said Mrs. Riley. "When you check one out, you're taking a turn with it. At our library, your turn lasts for 3 weeks. Oh, they're just like us. It lasts for 3 weeks. Penny raised her hand. "What if you don't return your book on time?" "Well, you can renew it and get extra time," said Mrs. Riley. "But if you keep it past the due date, you get a fine." Do you know what a fine is? It's money that you pay when you don't do something correctly. So we have a small fine that's attached to your book if you don't return it on time. "We have a few minutes before we head back to school," said Miss Edwards. "Please choose one book and then use your new library card to check it out." "I'd like to check out this chapter book," said Dawn. "Terrific," said Mrs. Riley. Let me try my finger test." So that's where she's going to have her read a few of the words to see if it's a good fit for her, if it's a good book. I don't usually do a finger test, but you can try it if you want to. Mrs. Riley showed them where to find the chapter books and the picture books, and she showed them where to find books about famous people and books about animals and books by their favorite authors. Do you have a favorite author? Oh, those are all good ones. Mrs. Riley even showed them a special shelf of audiobooks. "These are for kids who like to read with their ears," she said. Amelia Bedelia decided that she wanted to learn to read with her eyes first. And our children's audiobooks are upstairs, and they're not really in a place that's easy to find, but you can always ask Miss Kemp. And then Amelia made her choice. "Come with me," said Mrs. Riley. "I'll bet you'll like these books better. They're exactly at your level," because she wanted one that was up high. "Hey, Amelia Bedelia, which one should I get? Should I get the dinosaur or the weather book?" Mrs. Riley raised both eyebrows. "Sorry," said Amelia Bedelia. I thought the Tyrannosaurus was going to bite off my nose. I can't wait to read this to my little brother, said Teddy. He handed the other book to Amelia Bedelia. He said, check this one out. Amelia Bedelia opened the book. No teeth, no scales, and no dinosaur. This was about clouds and the weather. And she took it over to Thomas B. and he put it through and said beep. But she was like, that's not the book that I wanted. I wanted the one about cupcakes. But it was time to go, and she already had the cloud book checked out on her library cards. So when they left, she wasn't very happy. She took it home. She got on her swing set, and she started thinking about clouds because she had the book about clouds. Can you see anything in these clouds? I think there are some shapes in them. She took her library book out of her backpack, and her aunt came to visit. Aunt Mary brought Amelia Bedelia a fancy purse, just right for keeping her library card in. Oh no, there's a thunderstorm. Boom went a clap of thunder. It began to pour. Her book. She wanted to run outside and get it, but Mom said it wasn't safe. So that night when she went to bed, she thought and thought about all the terrible things that could have been happening to the book. She even thought about a dinosaur eating it. The next day, she went outside and she found the book. What had happened to it? Oh no. It looked like it had stayed in the bathtub too long. Amelia Bedelia was too upset to eat her breakfast. Is something wrong? Her dad asked. You look under the weather. I'm okay, but my library book was under the weather. Yipes, said her dad. It's practically pulp. Amelia Bedelia let out a sob. She thought only orange juice had pulp. Oh, sweetie, accidents happen. We will go to the library after school so you can explain everything. That afternoon, Amelia Bedelia and her mother went to the library. My, said Mrs. Riley. You really did read up a storm. Amelia Bedelia smiled and offered to replace the book. So a lot of times if something happens, you can offer to replace the book. And it really helps us here at the library. Thank you, said Mrs. Riley. Amelia Bedelia, I can tell that you love books as much as I do. She put a rubber band on Amelia Bedelia's wrist. Here is an official librarian's bracelet just for you. Thanks, said Amelia Bedelia. I know you don't allow food in the library, and I brought you a cupcake to say I'm sorry. Oh, she brought her a treat. Librarians like when they get treats. Said Mrs. Riley. Can it pass my finger test? Can you really read a cupcake? Amelia Bedelia asked. Mrs. Riley took a swipe of frosting and tasted it. Yum! I'm glad you brought this in for me to check out. So, I hope you enjoyed Amelia Bedelia's first library card, and I hope you remember some of the lessons from it, such as don't put food or drink near the book, try to keep your book with you and not out in the weather, and visit your library. I'll see you later. Bye.